YouTubers, it's MrMechraven here, and today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial guide on how to create some 3D text using After Effects CS 5.5. If you have an earlier version, you'll probably be able to do the same thing because this doesn't require any additional plugins or expensive software. It all runs within After Effects itself. Now, as I said, this is a very simple way of creating some 3D text within After Effects. So I'm not going to go into details of how to make it look all snazzy and nice because I'll leave the fiddling with the finer settings up to you. So without further ado, we'll make a start and we'll go to Composition, New Composition. That's all okay. Zoom out there. And before we go into the text, we're going to create a background. I'm just going to drop a texture I have here into the background. That's fine. So, to create our 3D text, we need to use the text tool. We can click in the center here, text. That's fine. So we drag our text to about the center. That should do. Okay. So how do we make this text become 3D, or at least look 3D? Well, what we can do is we can go to the Effects and Presets tab, and you need to type in the words shatter. And down here you'll see Simulation Shatter. So click and drag this to your text, and you'll have this what appears like a brick wall come up with this circle thing here. And if you scrub through the timeline, you'll see it looks like a group of bricks shattering. And that is the purpose of the effect, but we don't want this effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down, make it simple. I'm going to get rid of that brick wall and just apply it to the text. So if you come over to the shatter tab over here, and in the view it will say wireframe and etc. etc. We bring this down and we turn the wireframe forces and we turn it to rendered, and now we have our text back. But it doesn't stop there, so we get that back. So what we need to do is we need to go down to shape, and it'll say pattern bricks. We need to change that bricks to a custom, and custom shatter map from none to text. Now, as you can see here, you'll have text and grunge. This is applying to the layers down here. We want to apply it to the text layer, and we've got our text back. Now, if we don't do anything more and we leave it as it is, the shatter effect will still apply to the text. So if we scrub through the timeline, we can see that the text still shatters and still has some force applied to it, like gravity and force from behind. But we don't want that at the moment. So we're going to go to force 1, strength 0, close that down, force 2, strength 0, and close that down. So that stops the force of being pushed from behind from these 2 points. And we're going to go to the physics, we're going to go to gravity, we're going to click 0 and turn that down as well. So what that'll do is it'll stop any gravity on the text, and then we scrub through the whole timeline and we can see that there's no effect on the text now. But it still doesn't really look three-dimensional. So why is that? Well, the reason it doesn't look three-dimensional at the moment is because of the perspective that we're looking at it from. We're looking at it from a dead front, so we're not going to see any effect or change. So what we need to do is we need to go down to camera position, because the effect has a camera built into it, and we're going to adjust it slightly on the y-axis, like so, and we're going to tilt it a little bit on the x-axis as well. So if we zoom in here, we can see that there is a starting effect of 3D text there, but it's not really visible. We can see lines and it all looks a bit horrible. So we're going to close the camera position down, and we're going to go back up to shape. And at the bottom option of the shapes is extrusion depth. Now this is set quite low. You can actually set this to about 1 or whatever your preference is. And there we go. We have some 3D looking text. Although it doesn't look quite right because the gaps, there's no solid lines or solid surfaces to the letters. So we need to adjust that. How do we adjust that? We go over here again, we go into textures, and you have the options here to change the front, the side, and the back mode. Now, the initial values are all set to layer. What you want to do is, if you want to change the front, you can change the front. If you want to change only the side or the back, you can do that. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to show you, you drag down and you pick color, and there we go, you have some three-dimensional looking text. It's fairly simple. You can do the same to the front, of course. You can change that to a color, but depending on all the other settings, it may or may not change. So there we have it. There's the very basic way of making 3D text. It's like I said, it's a very simple way of doing it. There are other ways of making 3D text in After Effects, but if you're a beginner in After Effects, then this is probably one of the more simple ways. So if you want to adjust the position of where the text is, I advise you to use the camera from within the effect, rather than a separate camera that you'd make using Layer, New Camera. So as you can see, you can adjust the text from behind and the side there like that, so it looks three-dimensional. You can rotate it. You can rotate it in all directions. So there we go. Very simple 3D text. So if you're new to After Effects and you want to create simple 3D text, play around with these settings in here. You can use other effects from your effects and presets to improve it. You can add a glow, for example. Starlight and glow. And there we have very simple glow. So yeah, that's how you create the text, and it's really up to you what you choose to do after that. It's been MrMechraven, a simple tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, leave a comment, click like, subscribe, and I might do a few more tutorials in the future. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.